nicely. It's the Drew and Fuse Show. The Drew and Fuse Show. The Drew and Fuse Show. Yeah, they clean up nicely. Yeah.
Hey.
Yo, Daft Punk's fuseamania, what's cracking?
It's just a nice day here in Cincinnati, Ohio. How about you?
It's perfect outside. My house is always freezing cold, but otherwise t-shirt weather.
Dude, your house is not freezing cold. We've been over this so many
Bro.
times.
It's frozen. It's fucking so cold.
It'll be 75 degrees in there. And he's like, it's freezing in here.
It's 66 on the thermometer or whatever that thing is. It's frozen.
That is a little chilly for your house.
It's brisk, dude. It's the shade. It's all right.
It's the shade. Well, we got a hot tub. You can just go back there and chill in it.
Right after this, I'm jumping in.
I did the most embarrassing thing I've ever done this weekend. I got to tell this.
Yeah, what's that?
So I was DJing. I was at Red Leprechaun on Saturday, and this girl came up with like a message on her phone, and she did the whole thing, and I read it, and it like real quick because I was like, and it said like, it's my friend's birthday. Will you play a birthday song? Their name is, and I was like, yeah, sure. But then like as she like pulled the phone away, I didn't quite get the name, and I was like, what was their name again? And she goes, Spencer, and I go, oh, Spencer. And she goes, no. And then it was at that moment I realized I fucked up, and she had the biggest lisp ever.
Oh my God.
It's loud. We're in the bar, and I'm like,
you can't hear anything else.
Probably just thinks I'm making fun of her. And I was like, oh God. But anyway, on the mic, I said, happy birthday, Spencer, not Spencer. And everything was okay.
So you actually corrected before you said it?
Yes.
Oh, I thought you said it out loud. Okay.
No. But I just felt super embarrassed because I feel like she was like, this fucking guy. That's one of the most embarrassing things I've done in a while, I think.
I know your spot. Do you have a lot of people come up for birthday requests? Is that like a regular deal?
A few a night, I feel like, once you kind of do the first one, the floodgates open up a little bit. And the way I always, the first one's always super exciting. And then like the second one you might do, but by the third one, I'm like, happy birthday, Sam. Like just real quick like that. And it kind of like it, once you start doing them less exciting, as they kind of, fade off for a while.
When I get annoyed after the birthday requests, I just say, if you've had a birthday in the last 21 years, make some fucking noise. And then everyone screams, and then I put the music back on, and everyone's got the picture by that point. No more birthdays.
Yeah, sometimes I'll stop it altogether and be like, oh, it's come to my attention. We got a lot of birthdays in here tonight. If you came with somebody and it's their birthday, make some noise. And then I'll play like a birthday song.
One of my spots, we don't use the mic. They don't want us on the mic. So people come up asking for birthday shout outs, and I just yell it, happy birthday. And they look at me, they're like, you're such a fucking asshole, but whatever. They go away after that.
Yeah. I mean, it's just one of the ongoing sagas of being a DJ. So
it's part of the fun of it. So you had a good weekend, huh?
It was a good weekend. It was a very normal weekend for me. It was at the old Fishbowl on Friday and Red Leprechaun on Saturday. So it was pretty normal.
I was out in Florida. I met up with Brian B. was out there. We went to Pensacola and met the homie DJ Al was playing and played one of his spots. I just did a little guest set. It was fun. Then had a wedding. And this wedding, this couple's from New Orleans, and they fucking raged. It was bonkers. It was a lot of fun. A lot of house, but hip hop worked. And, my nails on the chalkboard song is Love Shack. And of course, these two guys had this whole dance routine to Love Shack, and it was funny. I'll throw them a bone on that, but it was,
you see a faded sign.
Everyone got around and they're doing it. Like one guy, they trade off flowers, and then the guy rips his tie off. I'm like, what is, this is a little erotic, but everyone's cheering it on. It was going crazy.
I always think anytime I hear of Love Shack, I can't help but think of the Flintstones movie with John Goodman because the B-52s are in there and they do Bedrock instead of Love Shack.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. So that's I think of that every time. I just think of the Flintstones.
You ever heard there's a band, a punk band, Guttermouth. They do this. He sings a punk song as if he's the singer from B-52s. The strategy. I can't remember when he says it, but it's so awful. It's like this fast punk song, and he's doing the B-52s voice. It's pretty
Yeah.
funny.
And then I also think of Rock Lobster. In WWE, some fan made a sign that they like put on the TV, and it was like Brock Lesnar, and it said Brock Lobster, and it was Brock Lesnar's face on a lobster. And I think of that all the time too. So Brock Lobster.
Rock Lobster doesn't bother me. Like Love Shack just irks the fuck out of me, but Rock Lobster doesn't. Rock Lobster is kind of funny to me.
It's a weird song. Definitely a weird song.
Yeah, very weird.
What else? Anything else before we get started today?
Nah, just travel weekend, and yeah, it was a good weekend. Back
got-
in the Florida, back home.
Florida to back home. That's
Yeah.
a trip for you. You do it all the
Yeah.
time now.
No, dude, my sleep at this point. Now I just sleep, but it's good.
Yeah. All right. Well, we got a great guest for you guys today. To give a little background, he's originally from Atlanta, now living in Vegas. Edits and remixes have been played by some huge DJs all over the world, like Carnage, Chucky, Diplo, Sac Noel, Tiesto, others. Since 2010, he's been a part of Little John's production team. Edits and tracks he's released with Little John have over 1 million downloads worldwide. He still maintains a presence in Atlanta with a mix show on iHeart at a Power 96.1 affiliate. 2015, he began producing remixes for Atlantic Records with Neil Jackson from New York, which led to mixes from singles with Flo Rida, Gladys, 21 Pilots, and more. He frequently collaborates on tracks with Mr. Collie Park from Atlanta, and their remixes of Chainsmokers Closer and Bruno Mars 24K Magic are some of the most popular. He's played all over the United States. I don't know if I mentioned it, but he's now in Vegas, and he's played in countries like Europe and Asia. Please help us welcome DJ Kontrol. Hey, how you doing?
Good, man. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for being on with us. We appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for being on.
Yeah.
To get started, we typically let's see, what do we got here? We typically do a little rapid fire questions. We've got some new questions we're debuting with you today. We got this stupid segment video we're gonna play. We haven't played this one in a while, and then we'll get into some questions.
This is Arnold here, the movie star of Twins and the Terminator. Drew and Fuse are going to ask you a series of questions, and I want you to answer them immediately. I need your clothes, your boots, and your motorcycle. Put the cookie down! Now! It's not a tumor! Now listen to me very carefully. I'm the Terminator. Cyberdyne System Model 101. Designed for the termination of human life. And I'm here to kill Sarah Connor, and is one of my mission parameters. I'll be back. It's now time for rapid fire.
I forgot how dumb that one was and how long it was.
He just keeps going on and making up stuff.
It makes no sense either.
It's great. The wonders of AI.
So our first question is, this is a deep one right off the bat, and it probably won't be so rapid fire, but how do you see the future of DJing? Where do you see the future of DJing?
I mean, there will always be talented DJs. I mean, that's with any industry. There's always going to be people that stand out from the rest. And then there'll be people that just, do the minimum and get paid to do it. So I don't see it changing much. I think technology has allowed us to do so many different things that you couldn't do on turntables just by themselves. And I don't know. I mean,
I ran into you at NAM, and this question came up to me while I was out there because I saw people showcasing on the phone with the DJ app, and so it just made me think: is that where we're going these days? Is the laptop gone? We're going to start doing the phone. That's probably a couple years out, but I was just wondering what DJs thought where we're going with it.
I don't think that. I mean, I think, obviously the tools have changed. And, I was a guy that when I first saw Control, I was like, oh, I'll never play on a controller. Now it's like, if that's what they have, it's simple. Or if you need to bring it for something quick and easy. I mean, but I do think the streaming will become, I saw Tidal just raise their price for DJs the other day. I don't know if you guys saw that. It was like,
oh, I thought they cut it. It's raised.
They lowered the price for their tiers for all members. But then for the DJs now have to pay a different additional fee, which I wasn't using it anyways. But it just, I think that stuff like that is going to become more common. I like to have the files. I like to make my own edits, my own remixes. So to me, that makes sense for me to always try to get a hold of the files. But to a new guy coming in the game who can pay whatever, 10, 20 bucks a month to have access to literally any song someone could want to hear, I just see it. I definitely see it going that way. I don't know enough friends that are using it. Talk to some guys and they're like, oh yeah, I use that, whatever. And I don't know. Have you guys used any of the streaming apps?
No.
I used BeatSource with a free trial for a little bit just to see what it was like, but I don't use any of the streaming apps at all. Like you said, I think, and one of my biggest things is customization will always be key for me. So having the ability to do that or not having the ability to do that is no good for me.
Yeah, I agree.
I can never play like that. It's just everything I play is an edit or remix or something. So the services are so lacking.
Yeah.
Headphones or no headphones?
Headphones.
It's always I see guys that can do it without headphones and it blows my mind.
I could do it without it too. I grew up playing video games and Serato is just a new video game. If you want to sit and skip the waveforms, I like to hear the level. I like to hear, where I'm at in the song. If I need to skip into something
Right.
I don't know, if it's a rehearsed set, and everything I'm planning, I'm just going whipping through things and I know them real well. I don't think I would need the headphones, but a normal gig, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, all day.
I don't feel right not even having my neck, whether I put them up or not. It's definitely, it feels like, walking into the wrestling ring and I got my, robot like that's tired,
That's the best way to put it.
In high school, I walked around everywhere from class to class wearing headphones, so much so that like all the candid photos in my yearbook, like I'm wearing headphones and like, here I am. This is, it's like, so, it's definitely been a part of me longer than DJing even. So I always headphones. So
have you tried the in-ears or like the big cans?
I haven't tried the in-ears. I've tried them, but I don't. I like the cans still. I like to just do that,
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Same.
For sure. Are you on sticks or laptop?
Laptop. I tried sticks. I wanted to be able to do it, especially out here, in Vegas, like the pool parties, you're bringing your laptop out into 110-degree weather and it's like, it's not probably good for them. You know what I mean? So, and I did get everything on sticks and, I tried it, it's definitely, I could do it if I had to, I don't prefer it, but
Mhm.
I haven't tried 2000 with sticks in all fairness. And they said the search is way better. So that was my big, gripe with it before was the search in the 2000s. And it was just like, it's like typing on a typewriter or something. Like it wasn't, now they say it's a lot better. So I would try it,
Is out in Vegas, the new M1s are out. I don't know if you're on that yet, but the new M1s just react so much better to the heat. I'm wondering if that's been a savior having the newer laptops.
I have an M1 Pro. I got mine late last summer, so I haven't even tried anything this year. It will be the first trying that for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't know that about the heat. That's good to know.
Even here in Cincy, sometimes the outdoor gigs I do in the summertime, it's just so humid. The M1 has responded. Like my Touch Bar laptop would die Like I would have to carry around a 5-gallon plastic bag, and if I played, I would just go get ice and then sit my computer on the ice to keep it from. But now I don't have to do that anymore.
They do that here, and they have a fan shooting the cool air up there, and you see the
Yeah.
bar back running every so often. You need more ice. It's just like, I'm like, yo, this is insane. Like the booth is built with like, I don't know. So
Yeah, that
a
is
custom
crazy.
cooler, DJ stand.
me and friends have talked about it. It's why it doesn't exist yet. I don't know, but there's definitely demand for it. Arizona here, I mean, alone could
Yeah.
be in business. So
What's your favorite genre to listen to when you're not DJing?
probably like 90s hip hop and 90s R&B. Like that's what I grew up on. Those are my high school years. So I'm showing my age, but those are, those are the best years where you're connected to music, I think. So that's what I find myself going back to. I used to make pause tapes, not mixtapes, because I hadn't figured out how to mix yet. But in high school, I was making cassettes where I would just put all the, I'd buy the cassettes or CD and I'd make my own little compilations. I sold them around school and stuff. And I've since gone on in my personal Spotify and just made like a 200 track version of like a couple, volumes of the mixtapes. And so I find myself, playing those. And, now that I produce music, going back and hearing those and just hearing how simple, but how awesome. I mean, technology limited what they could do, but it just, that stuff to me just sounds, I don't know. That's like what I want to hear. I even put on like 80s hair bands sometimes. I have a playlist of that kind of stuff. Before I got into hip hop, I was heavy into like hair band stuff. So I have a playlist of that. But I'm up on everything, like, so there's moments where I listen to new stuff and everything, but yeah, probably the 90s stuff.
And then
Yeah.
what's your favorite music to DJ if you had to pick a genre?
I love high energy stuff, like I love whether it's, big room or even like when trap and twerk were big, like just, I love that. We're getting back to it. We went a few years where it was this mellow house music, which I like house music, but it was just super mellow and it like sucked the energy out of the clubs. And we're finally getting back to like doing that, because all it was the 2012 big room that people are playing to get a reaction. Like all this older house music was not, this newer house music, like it was cool and it was vibey, but I want to hear that in Ibiza on a beach or Miami on a beach. Like I don't want to hear it in a big room. And there was so much good stuff being made until most of the guys started kind of switching it. You know what I mean? Like, so
Yeah.
anything with energy, like I like, to DJ.
Is there any place that you like searching for music? We have the question favorite Patreon. Just somewhere out of the normal.
And you have all your stuff on Crate Connect, is that right? All your exclusives?
No, not all of this. I've been with them for over a year, so a lot of the
Okay.
there's I do about 4 a month for them, and that's my outlet for mashups right now. But there's so much I make. Honestly, like I'm more of a guy that's gonna play my own edits or the original, so just getting the originals off the record pool. If I don't love how it is, I'll make my own version of it with everything, pop, dance, hip hop, everything. So there's a lot of guys that are doing awesome Patreon pages. I will say that though. I had right before the pandemic started, I started my own record pool called Apex Crates. And
Yeah.
literally it was because I got sick of sending mashup packs to these pools. They'd pick one or two or whatever. And I'd have a bunch. I'm like, there's so much missing stuff that no one gets to hear. I was like, man, I wish I just had a place. I was like, oh, I'll start my own pool. And then I partnered up with a guy I work with in out of Chicago, IDJ Pool. He has a great library, probably the deepest library on the internet for dance and hip hop and everything. So partnered with him. And from the time I started the pool till 3 years later is when I ended it. The amount of new music that came out, it tripled. Just normal stuff. And it was like guys you would want to have in your pool. You would want to have the new song by whoever, but it's like, can you have every one of their songs? Do you need every one that NLE Choppa puts out? Like, I don't know, but it just got to the point where I started as this thing to kind of push my mashups and have a home for them. And I was like, oh, I'll do a pool too, because I'm already in there. I know what's what, man. And it just got to be so overwhelming. I say all that to say, had the Patreon wave started, I would have just done that. You know what I mean? I would have had a Patreon page back in 2019 is when I started it.
Yeah.
It existed, but I didn't know anybody doing it then. And, I wish I had the foresight to have just done that, and I probably would have kept it going. But I don't even have one now. I probably will one day bring it, do it again. But I put some stuff on Bandcamp, and Craig Connects gets the mashups. I DJ pool is what I do intro outros for. So I do intro outros for them. So
yeah, dope.
there's so much stuff of mine that's like, you got the master pack. I sent you the
yeah, we're gonna talk about that here in a minute. This is gold, like fucking incredible. So blown away by it. Good inspiration. Actually, yeah, you want to transition over to that? We were talking about that.
Yeah.
Well, we've been doing this podcast for a while now, and we're always impressed when DJs have a good website and just good presentation. And you sent me over this. Basically, what it is for those that are just listening online is just a little tin, and inside here is a USB with like his exclusives and mashups and stuff. It's just the presentation's really dope. So people looking for a new way to stand out was good. And after you sent this to me, we were going back and forth on a text and just going, is the future, do we need a USB-C one? Do we need a USB-A one? Do we also need to have one for mixes? And, I don't think there is one answer, but, just having the options, and this just is just a great way to get all your stuff out to people.
Appreciate that, man.
Do you carry them around like when you're at a club and you're playing? And I mean, probably not for all your mashups, right? But if someone comes up and they're like, "Man, your shit's dope," is there a way to you send them somewhere for mixes? I'm asking for myself because people will come up to me and they'll be like, "Hey, all your stuff that you play is really cool. Where can I get it?" And they don't mean like mashups or anything. They're just meaning like, I want to listen to it.
They're great to have on you. I will say with that though, that I did that many years ago. It might be 8 years old now. Whatever, USB maybe 1 or 2. So the transfer rate sucks. So when it comes time to bring those over, I just did one yesterday actually, because I'm just trying to I found 1 box left of those and I need to reorder. But until then, I'm going to get rid of the ones I have. But the transfer, you got 28 gigs on that. It's a 32 gig drive, 28 gigs. There's maybe a few gigs that are DJ mixes or mixtapes, but most of it's like blends and mashups. No intro outros. It's not other people's. It's all remixes, originals, mashups, blends, whatever, transitions, whatever. But some going back to 2009, like when I was like Crooklyn Clan, and some going back to in everything up until today with the Crate Connect. The transfer rate for me to load you up, it takes 8 hours, and I don't know why. The first couple I did, because I came back from NAMM and I was like, I need to start doing these again. It took me literally a day to pull stuff from both my laptops. Think my library is all over the place. I never had them cohesive. So you got a very up-to-date cohesive. It's not missing much.
I'm hyped. I haven't even had a chance because I want to focus on it. I was out of town this weekend, but I want to definitely deep dive into it.
There's some gems, but it took a lot to get those. So when you ask if I have them, I'm like, I wish I could transfer it quickly in an hour or whatever and be able to, do it. But I had it on a solid state and I was transferring it from the USB. I was like, oh, maybe it's because it's not on the desktop. I tried it from the desktop. It still is just so slow. So I need to have them. But once I get rid of these, I am going to go to a different one. If it's not a USB-C, it'll be a faster, 3.1 or whatever, A, which will make a huge difference, I'm sure. But,
And what our conversation, I mean, I'm just refreshing for the listeners, but we were still saying A might be the move because in a car you could throw an A USB stick inside and be able to play mashup or play mixes. Are people smart enough? If I give it to a girl at a club, is she smart enough to know that she has a USB A in the car? I'm just asking. I don't know.
I don't know.
Fuse, do you think they're smart enough?
I don't know what the new cars have. Does the 2024 have a C in there yet? Because it will, because they're all charging, right? Or no?
I've got a USB-C in mine, and my Volkswagen that my wife. It's so weird to say. My wife drives is got a USB-C as well.
See, there you go. That's what I was saying. Yeah, I mean, I have the flash drives that have when you push it one way it goes A, the other side C, for just my own transfer stuff. So they probably make that, and that might be a better option. I mean,
that'd be so expensive just for the flip of a coin and which one they have,
Maybe. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe you buy both or something. But you could have CDs in your bag, and someone might still buy a CD from you. No fucking car has a CD player in it anymore. It's like, so how do you cater to everybody?
I used to make and pass out these. These are old CDs that we used to do at the club. This is one that me and Kevin Scott did, the whatever party.
Nice.
And we used to pass these out. I still have a ton of them, and people still have them because they still have CD players in their car. And this was great to pass out in the club because someone come up to you, you're just like, here you go. But I want that new thing. Like, I don't know if it's like a postcard with a giant QR code that I give, which will find 1,000 of them out on the parking lot when they're leaving. But I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, QR codes finally have come around in this country. It took many years. Asia was on them so long ago, and it's just like we're finally like we know what a QR code is in the last few years.
Maybe it's just a business card with a QR code. Like on the flip side, like my business cards that I've given out for the last 2 years have only had my logo on one side and then my Instagram on the other. Because I think personally, this is just my opinion. If somebody wants to book me, they'll take the time to go to my Instagram to follow to get the rest of the information. And if they don't, then like if they won't take that time, then I don't want to deal with them anyway. Like they're probably like a problem client.
Yeah.
But like
you're not wrong, but some of the people I've been dealing with lately, they're just drunk and they're like, this is amazing, and they do want it, but they'll forget.
Well, I'm saying they'll have the card, they can put it in their pocket, but maybe it's just a card with your info on it, like whatever info you want to put. Me, still, I'm not putting my phone number or email. I don't want anybody to have that shit. That doesn't like you don't want to get up. Hey, can you DJ Aunt Susie's fucking party for $150? I saw you at the bar last night, and it's like, no, get the fuck out of here.
That doesn't sound like a headache.
Yeah, and so, but maybe it's just a QR code to like. Drew, we have the solo, like the link tree, and maybe that's it. And then on the link tree, you have your mixes highlighted.
Exactly. Yeah, those are great link trees.
Or even just a silent page on your website that has all the stuff. That has like mixes laid out, highlighting. I don't know how to do it. I don't know what it is. You have a great website as well.
Well, you guys were reading the bio. It's not really up to date. I'm not on the radio anymore in Atlanta, but it's all good.
Were you originally based out in Atlanta?
No, I lived there for about 10 years. I'm originally from upstate New York. So grew up Binghamton, New York, kind of middle of nowhere up there. 3 hours away from the city. It's not, New York City at all, but fell in love with hip hop and DJing and everything else up there. So.
And then, so you moved to Atlanta from New York?
I went to North Carolina first. I went to college down there. I moved to Raleigh, North Carolina, where a lot of my family still lives. Went to college in Charlotte, North Carolina. So I lived in Charlotte for a few years. Started DJing in Charlotte and was there for, a couple years after college. And then I went down to Tampa for 2 years. And then I went to Atlanta. So, but all South, all East Coast. So this has been out here now about 10 years. And I love it out West. So,
yeah. I love Vegas. Vegas. Fuse hates Vegas. I love it.
It's not that I hate it. I just hate as a person who doesn't live there going to Vegas because I always get sucked into the Vegas shit because it's like you're there and then like depending on who you're there with, I just don't care to do the Vegas shit anymore. Like I don't need to do any of that. Like I've been there like 25 fucking times. I don't need to go to the big club and see whoever DJ unless we got the in. I just don't want to deal with the hassle of it. Like it doesn't sound fun to me.
It makes sense. Even as a local, it's the same thing. But I don't know. It's a fun place. I definitely, it's changing. It's growing like crazy. But I do like it out here. The weather is insane in June, July, and August, as everyone knows. But I sit in the studio a lot. So, got AC going, but
the thing that I would love about Vegas is just all the food options. There's so many like food options that are great all the time. So
and off strip too. It's not the ones when you come to town, like try to find the good local off strip ones. The ones on the strip, they're all tourist traps and there's good ones. Don't get me wrong, but you're paying for convenience to be able to walk downstairs and go to those. It's worth hopping in an Uber, and there's so many good places like in every direction from my house, like 5 minutes and anything you could want. And so we do have that, which is amazing.
Talking about what Drew wanted to segue into, getting into the production a little bit. You mentioned your time in Atlanta. Is that kind of how you got connected with Little John, or was?
Yeah, it was. It was kind of like right before I left, but he was like 2013, I guess. Is that right? Or no, 2003 maybe. I think it was. I don't know. My year's off. But he had put out whatever year Crunk Rock came out. So look up that. And when Crunk Rock came out, it came out, you know, I bought it the day it came out. I was interested in it, and it was cool. And then he put out the acapellas a few months later, and it was, you know, hours until my birthday. I didn't know what I was going to do on my birthday, and I didn't have much planned that week. And he put the acapellas out. I think I got him at like 10 p.m. and I was like, huh, I know what I'm doing. I'm going to do a remix album just for the fun of it, mashup album of, you know, the freedom to use whatever kind of beats, because it was crunk rock and there was a few, like, I could tell like the vibe he was on, but I was like, let me use like Journey and AC/DC, some of these things that like you couldn't use, you know, whatever. So, and I just made a mashup tape, and I
vaguely remember this.
Yeah, I
2010. I looked it up. Crunk
Ten.
Rock came out.
God, man, I'm on way off on my years. All right, so that's the year. I used one of those promotional email blast services. I was like, oh, let me just see. I'll do this and like push it a little further than I can get it with my reach. And you know, sure. Actually, Aaron the Era told me that he kind of pointed Little John to me. I guess, you know, he's like, oh, did you hear this? Whatever. And it was probably, I don't know, a week later, and I'm at work DJing in Atlanta at some bar, you know, just whatever. And I looked at my phone. I was like, Little John is now following you. I was like, oh, he heard the mixtape. You know what I mean? So,
jeez,
it was like,
that follow, when you get that follow, it's like, oh shit, you know, that's
anything going on did not matter anymore. I was like, oh shit. And you know, it turns out he was looking for a guy like me to do some mashups. He had some ideas just to do little stuff for the DJs. And you know, we went on, did that for a long time, just putting out mashups, just kind of, some made it to SoundCloud, some got taken down, but we had our own server and we were kind of putting them out there. I mean, they got so many downloads all over the world, and it was, you know, it was crazy. So it definitely it was a lot of fun. You know, I learned so much from him. We got in this actual studio a few times, but it was a lot of just passing stuff back and forth. Like, actually, when I started, he was on the Trump show. What was it? The reality.
Oh yeah, The Apprentice.
Oh yeah.
I remember when he was on that. Yeah,
he was on, and I'm in the background doing stuff for him, whatever. And
oh shit.
And then that was like, you know, it was, he had these ideas. We go back and forth. I want to do this, that. Okay, cool, whatever. Here's a good acapella. What are we gonna put it with? You know, just trying different things, and you know, always just doing it for the DJ. It was just something that, you know, he always was conscious of feeding the DJ when he didn't have his own stuff out. Or even just the crunk rock stuff, we kept recycling and using a lot of those acapellas and pushing those further. So yeah, it was a super exciting for me.
We want to keep talking some production stuff. We have this production video. It's another high quality video. We're going to roll it, and then we'll keep talking some production.
Hey, what is up, Drew and Fuse? It is Mark McGrath from the band Sugar Ray, off the charts, but always in our heart. Hey, Drew and Fuse. When I'm not busy being the handsome, dashing fella that I am, at least had a few good years in the 90s, I work on music, like writing hit #1 songs like Fly and Every Morning. Maybe someday you'll have a hit. Let's talk production. Let's talk inspiration. Actually, you know what? I don't even like Drew and Fuse. Who are they?
That was great.
At least he pretends well. I like that he pretends it. When you were doing all this stuff for him, you're saying most of it was in your studio, or you were just passing a lot of the stuff back and forth on Dropbox?
We were on AOL Instant Messenger at the time. That was the era.
Wow.
Everything was that, you know. But I was using Ableton to make everything. You know, I think I started on Ableton 4, so where 12 just came out.
I know.
You go. I've been on it since 4. So
have you downloaded 12 yet?
I have. I only play with it for a few hours. I just haven't had any time to really dive in and start something fresh. But the things I've seen are awesome. It's all just like shortcuts. You know, I posted something on my Facebook about, I was excited about 12, and the guy's like, well, what's so big of, you know, what? And I'm like, I don't know. To me, it's, I sit and I spend so many hours on Ableton. It's like getting a new car. Like there's just new bells and whistles and things for me to figure out, you know. And
right.
Maybe I'll use half of them, maybe I won't. But you know, just anything that can cut time in half, like, which is what they always do as they progress. And they don't come out very often with the updates, you know. So it's exciting for me to.
I downloaded it. I haven't installed it yet.
I downloaded it and I used it, and it was what I'll say, what I love about it is the windows. Now you can have basically the other side. You know, we all you kind of use the track side, so you could flip it and have all of the dials right inside of it. Basically, you could have everything in one window now.
I
It's
know.
amazing.
It's
You don't
amazing.
have to flip back and forth.
Yeah, I was hitting the tab button. It was amazing. It took the 12 versions, or but it's like wow. But yeah, no, that was a huge update.
With your production stuff, are you still doing stuff with Little John at all, or is it kind of just more like a friendship base now, where you kind of just send each other edits here and there?
Yeah, I mean, once in a while. I mean, the last thing we did was the Bad Bunny remix, the TT Mi Pregunto, which
Oh, that's pretty recent, I feel
yeah,
like.
I mean, that's the last thing though. But I mean, it's I'm done. I've been doing a lot of like more dance stuff right now, kind of just doing some solo stuff, things like that. I mean, I did collaborate with a couple people on different things. Like Splice and I have a new song out.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, and so that's people seem to love that. So, I'm just kind of more trying to get into that world, just doing it's funny, like I love hip hop, but I started DJing dance music many years ago. So I'm happy to get back into that more.
What
Are
I
you
love about house and dance music over just like the plain hip hop is people are a lot more accepting in that arena of new stuff, or I haven't heard this, but just accepting that it's dope,
Yeah, for
versus
sure.
hip hop. It's like, oh, I don't know this, so it's whack.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a whole different world.
have you done any ghost producing for anybody or anything like that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Things out there like that.
Nothing we can talk about, but yeah,
Nope.
it's out there.
Well,
Um,
it's always worth a shot to ask. I'm just curious of what your experience has been with some of that, and just any challenges that, sometimes I feel like it sounds like a good thing, or, and obviously there's money to be made doing that kind of stuff. But are there any challenges that you've experienced with doing like ghost producing and stuff?
I mean, there's positives to anything these days, really. So it's all what you want to do. I mean, do you want to be the guy out in front? Like, I don't care anymore. Like, I could, you know what I mean? I'm older. I really don't care about that. I took once my son was born, definitely between starting Apex and stuff, and I kind of did mostly mashup. So I took a huge break from production, to the point where when I got done with Apex, I didn't touch music other than my job doing intro outros. I didn't touch anything for it was like 6 months. And my son and I just played Lego, and I fell back in love with Lego from, it's something we share. It's something I did when I was a kid. I hadn't touched it in 30 years or whatever. And I would just sit with him and we would do that, and slowly brought my creativity back, and I started producing again, so I'm very I'm back in it, but I'm new to being back in it. Like I've produced for years, like over 20 years now. So it's you just got to find what you love. I mean, ultimately to be able to wake up and play with music, which is ultimate, what I do, like it's a blessing. It's amazing. So, you have to find what you want to do, whether it's DJing, production, you have to love it if you want to get up and do it,
Right.
and like the intro outros, like through AI and the ability to pull some of these pieces out, I can make that fun, like a crossword puzzle to a brain for someone. Like I can make that challenge of making, like I do country edits. I don't play country, but I make country edits. And like whatever it is, like I can make it fun for my job, and it's, for whatever you choose to do, the production stuff, like there's ups and downs. And, with Spotify, it's like, it's so like what you make is so little. Like, you guys see what Kanye's doing? He's going to try to sell his next volume of his album. He's going straight to, his store. He wants you to sell it for $20 because he's like, doing the Spotify is ridiculous. Like they're paying Joe Rogan all this money. And it's like,
right.
cool. That's you
Right.
guys right there. But it's like, what they give the artists and everything, it's embarrassing. And people fight over these streams, and now they're not even gonna make money unless you get past a certain threshold. And it's just like, man, it's really like changed how people think with stuff, just trying to put out so many songs. And it's just like, but I don't know. It's a long answer.
It's tough. I feel like there's always going to be like the circle. Everything comes back full circle. And, like while basically Napster was the start of what Spotify kind of is now,
For sure.
there it'll all come full circle again to where I think people will eventually get back to like buying albums and stuff, because I'm starting to feel this way now where I'm just like, I'm so fucking tired of paying $9.99 a month for I want to watch this or listen to this or do this. It's like I don't care anymore. I'm like, let me just listen to the one or watch the one thing that I want to watch and be done with it, you know? Rather just pay for the movie by itself or the TV show by itself and just be done with it.
I agree.
I've been buying a lot of vinyl lately. I got my living room set up with my turntables and everything, and just have a little lounge system. So buying actual records to just put on and listen. And then my kid's 15, and she begged me for one of those pocket cameras. Just she has a phone that she's takes a billion selfies with, but she begged me for a camera, and she got all these rad pictures. So I don't know if shit's just going back to the old school because people are so obsessed or you have access to everything. So I was taking it back to the old school to where it's, you cherish the things that are a little bit harder to come by, I guess, or cost some.
The physical, tangible media. I mean, I was the guy that before CDs, I bought the cassette or I bought the vinyl, and I would just, as I'm listening, just sit and read the credits, who produced it, where was it recorded, all this stuff. And that was, you could go off into this own world while you did that. People don't see they might have the instruction. I mean, the booklet, the digital PDF when you buy it from iTunes or whatever, but are they looking at it like that? Probably not, because the connection's gone. But there's something I think about a lot with, like when I was younger, I would go to the CD store or tape store, whatever it was called, every Tuesday, right? That was the day. That was the new release day. You'd go in, and it was like whatever came out, that's what you had to hold you over until the next week. I'd save up my money, whatever, and I'd buy something new. Nothing came out. There was nothing to buy that day. Now it's like, what do they say? 70,000 songs are released every day, and I try to like relate this to our world of like how the speed that songs come at these young kids. It's like what it takes for us. But every Tuesday, however many songs we got or albums in 5 years, they're getting that in months. So to them, you've probably heard people say like, "Oh, that's old school. It came out in 2019 or whatever." But to them, the amount of compounded songs that came out is equivalent to years of our life, and it's months. And so there's so much coming at them, and it's for them to want to buy a vinyl to try to like connect with a different way, it makes sense, but I saw something yesterday. It was like some percentage of people that buy vinyl don't even own a record player. And I'm like,
just buy it to frame it.
Yeah. I mean, you Google it, figure out what it was, but it's just like, oh man, like it's, what are they doing with it? I don't know, but hey, at least they're getting it, right? Supporting. So that's
it's crazy again that the vinyl is back and as big as it is. I like buying vinyl still. I mean, I don't have a CD player in my car. I don't even have a CD player, I think, here at home. I don't think. Yeah, I don't think. So it's like for me, if I really like an album, I'm like, oh, I'll just buy it on vinyl and then I have it. I mean, I have 4 turntables around the house. So it's like if I want to listen to it, I can just grab one and pull it out. But and I have Spotify, as much as I hate it, but like, and I'll listen to songs on there, but it's like there's something to be said for like just having the physical copy.
I took my kids shopping, and Urban Outfitters has a whole vinyl section. I thought it was ironic when I was out there that it was in the window facing the sun, but they did have it. They did have the whole section. So that just goes to show you how many people actually care or know that's not a good look to have it out there. Well, before we go too far off the remixing, I do want to talk to you. I mean, that's what you're known for. Do a little bit of a deep dive into, you said you're using Ableton, just some of the plugins you like to use. You getting your stuff off Splice. You just been collecting samples for years.
Yeah, definitely. I've been collecting samples for years. I mean, I have hard drives that have information from 2003, or even probably older than that. But I just found an actual CD that I bought. It was like a sound CD from Germany. It was like hard German trance sounds from early 2000s, but it was before Splice and all that.
Yeah,
right.
So yeah, I've been doing that forever. But as far as plugins like Pro Q3, I love that EQ. God, there's so many good ones. It's like there's so many things that you go to regularly.
Even, a question that I had, and we kind of you touched on this, but you said you learned so much stuff from Lil Jon. Maybe just even like a little, just something that you took away that you still use today.
I don't know. There's so many things. I mean, at the end, I love his passion for music. Like if people don't know, he is a music dude. Like he knows his stuff. He's aware of whatever the new stuff is.
He was a DJ well before.
Well before,
Well before,
he
yeah.
was doing high school parties, and I think he like punk, like Bad Brains and stuff when he was a
Oh
kid.
yeah, for sure.
So he's he's into everything, and just that passion for music. That's something that I still have, and I don't ever want to lose, because at the core of it, I'm still that kid going to the tape store on a Tuesday to get excited about whatever I'm excited about musically, and there's still stuff coming out that excites me. So that passion is something that I will always take with me, just to never lose sight of that, because why are you doing it? There's so many people
Right.
that just got a job as a DJ to pay bills or something, but it's like, were you the one in your crew that was the kid that was turning all your friends on to music? Like, that was me. It was before I was a DJ. I was just like, oh, you hear this new, DJ Premier remix or whatever, whatever it was. And that was what I provided my group of friends. Now it's like everyone wants to be an influencer or this or that, and it's like, are you just doing it because you're not a model, so you're like, well, I'll be a DJ? And it's like, when I meet DJs and I can't talk music with them, like I walk away from them just like, okay, if I can sit and talk to you about music for hours, cool. You're probably in this job for the same reason I'm in it, right? That's
Right.
so that's a huge thing, just to always.
That was my weekends. We go to the Tower Records and just back when they had the listening stations, and just go to the listening stations and spend the whole night there until they kicked us out at midnight.
That's awesome. Open till midnight. That's crazy.
We had one. It was the biggest Tower Records out here. It was called the Wow Store, and I can't remember. It was combined with like Best Buy or Circuit City or something along those lines. But one side was that, and then the other side was the Tower Records. So it was just tons of shit.
Yeah. I miss Circuit City and Best Buy buying CDs, and
I miss that too.
Best Buy just got rid of all media. Like, I don't know if you've been there in the last month. They had a few rows of CDs and DVD. They've removed all media now. So it's like, wow, and people are like, oh, vinyl's making this resurgent. No, CDs are not anywhere to be found anymore. Like you said, they're in the store. They're in, Barnes and Nobles has had them. Like, there's so many places you can buy vinyl. Where can you buy CD right now? Amazon? You know what I mean? Like, so that might change. People just start pushing more CDs, but vinyl sounds great, so I love it. But I'm a CD dude, man. I don't have a huge vinyl collection. I want those old CD singles from the 90s that have the instrumental. I want the wave rip. Like, I don't want this bullshit download off YouTube. Like, so I have thousands of CD singles. Like, check my Discogs. You can, if you find me on Discogs, like, there's, I love being the friend that, like, someone's like, yo, you don't have this instrumental, do you have? Of course I got that shit, man. Like, that's
Love it. I miss going to record stores. I think the closest thing that I think DJs, like, if you started DJing today, I think the closest thing to going to like a record store that you could have, besides going, there's still record stores. I'm not going to say that you can't, but I still think like scrolling and searching SoundCloud is like the most equivalent to like going to a record store and like searching for something to find. And I think you could still kind of have that, because still I spend hours searching SoundCloud for stuff, and then I'll find something that I'm like, oh my God, I'm so glad I just searched SoundCloud for an hour and found this.
Bandcamp too, right?
Yeah, Bandcamp too, for sure. Yeah. And I guess Patreon, but I don't know if you can preview it the same way. But now SoundCloud is still a gem. I mean, there's, some stuff makes it up there, gets past the copyright. Like, I had a page when I was working with Little John Heavy, like, man, my page got so big, and I lost it one day. I woke up and they gave my third strike for some mixtape from 10 years earlier that had some random song and they like wiped it away. And ever since, I'm like, I'm not giving them another dime. So, like, be nice to have the pro account and be able to put more songs on SoundCloud, but nah, you're getting, like, I'm not giving money. Like, but when I sit and, like, people don't realize, like, you can just search the song title and in the word remix, and it'll populate things that you would have never found anywhere. They're not on Spotify. They're not, so it is definitely still, a good source for, and I agree about digging. Like, you can dig there,
Before we get too far into anything else, real quick, we forgot to mention at the beginning that if you guys are listening and you haven't, signed up for a record pool and you want to sign up for DMS, you can use the promo code Drew and Fuse Show. It'll get you 30% off your first month. Also, if you haven't yet, you can check out Crate Hackers. They have an all new 4.0 dropping here soon. We highly recommend checking that out. Drew, do you have
they
anything else?
just released a new feature that they're advertising right now as well. So you can upload a Spotify playlist and it'll categorize it into BPM and energy level and all kinds of crazy stuff. So it's pretty powerful. If a couple sends it to you, you can go on there. Pretty dope.
Drew does a ton of weddings, and he finds it very useful for when he's doing those. So there's some
Yeah,
some
I get the
needs.
bride from this last weekend sent me 500 songs, and you're like, okay, which ones are the good ones? Well, they do it. I'm cool with it because I can kind of just thumb through it. I don't download it all, but at least this way you're able to find what's really the dance floor heavy songs.
And then real quick, we'll roll this travel video, and we want to talk some of your travel gigs that you've done over the years.
Great Scott! Hey there, Drew and Fuse! It's me, Doc Brown! Quick, jump in the DeLorean! We need to get this episode up to 88 miles per hour! Now, hit the flux capacitor, and let's travel to the future!
You see that right there, right?
Yeah.
Oh, there he is. All right.
We got the flux capacitor in this here.
So go ahead,
I was
Drew.
going to say the new Tesla truck almost pretty much ripped that off, right? It's kind of they stole the idea of it from that. When I see them driving around, that's what it reminds me of.
Have you ever seen DeLorean has a new one? Like they keep talking
I've
like
seen.
someone bought the company and they're trying to bring a new one. I think it has a website and everything, but it never came out. But
I've seen some of those. It's pretty nuts looking.
it is, yeah.
Wow, I didn't realize that, and it's with everything else that just keeps getting rehashed. It's amazing it took this long for someone to just buy the brand. Maybe they were just sitting on it and they didn't want to get rid of it, but
they're so cool. I mean, they still look crazy. Like they're
one of the things we want to chat a little bit about was just like your time traveling and some of the more memorable spots you've got to travel to.
Actually, let me start with this because on Facebook today it reminded me that 11 years ago I was traveling. I left Atlanta. My boy DJ Krills and I, we TRPM STR. That was our like trap duo thing. We went down to South by Southwest and we stopped in Panama City, Florida, and we stayed with my boy DJ Nayu. He was the resident down at Club La Vila, which is one of those clubs that was on MTV back in the day when they did the Four Cities. It was the big spring break place, and it was during spring break. So we stopped there. I met a DJ named DJ High Maintenance, and we had a fun night. And we kept in touch after that night, and stayed in touch on FaceTime, whatever, and ended up marrying that woman. And that was, everyone's like, oh, you're not going to meet your wife in a club. I did meet my wife in a club, actually. And today was the day, 11 years ago, I got reminded of that.
Wow. Congrats. That's rad.
Yeah. So, and she's still DJ. She's an amazing DJ, awesome person. I love her to death. So, but that happened, on the road, whatever. As far as traveling, I mean, I've been to Taiwan. That was nuts. I stayed in touch with the resident there, and he's like, you were the first person to play trap here. And the club is still going. It's called 18TC. Huge crowds every weekend, and it's mostly big room, right? But in Atlanta at the time and everything, I was playing big room, and then I would halftime into trap, and it worked great. And I'll never forget, had him going. I was like going hard for like 20 minutes or whatever, and I dropped into a song, and it dropped into trap. And right when it was like, boom, and the bass hit, they didn't know what to do. Like the whole room was like, they didn't know. It was, it's Asia, trap hadn't hit there, and they didn't get it. I was like, okay, I got to get out of this, whatever. But I joked with the guy, and he's like, man, you were the first one to play. He's like, we play it now. He's like, but not so much now, but like 5 years ago when I talked to him, whatever, because no one's making really trap much anymore. But yeah, so that that was a lot of fun. But
so how did you get gigs out there back then? Just from your remixes?
Yeah, that was just through doing stuff with Lil Jon. Like, man, I was on tour with a band in Europe, and we went into, I can't even think of the city right now if it comes to me, but it was like some random city, and the band I was with, they were just kind of, doing shows, and we had an off night, and I'm looking on my Facebook. I was like, I know some people in Vienna, Austria.
Oh,
Okay.
okay, yeah.
And it was like, I was like, oh, I looked up some DJs, and my boy's like, yo, I'm not DJing tonight, but go to this place. You know what I mean? They'll take care of you. All right, cool. Whatever. We don't know anything. We're just a bunch of Americans running around. And we go out there and get to the door. They don't speak English, but I say who I am. They're like, oh, come in, and they got us a section. They got us a bottle, you know what I
Wow.
mean? And it was, the carpet was rolled out. We had a fun night, but, and again, no one really spoke English to us. Like we were just everyone's just like, shaking hands and very polite and all that. But that was just my stuff with Lil Jon. It got around the world. And it's the kind of thing that most of our best stuff is not on Spotify. It's not even still on SoundCloud, but DJs just have it, in their computers.
Oh, yeah.
They played it. And that respect that I received from that and still receive from all that stuff, like, that's worth more than money. You know what I mean? So it really shows how far that stuff can go. To be able to just walk into a room and then be like, yo, DJ Kontrol. Oh yes, we played, whatever. And it was just awesome. You know what I mean? So, that's just traveling. But yeah, I don't know.
Vienna, I was gonna mention Too Hot, one of the guys that used to be
That's
on
him.
DMS.
That's who it is.
him?
Oh, Too
Yeah,
Hot.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
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 That's awesome. He
Yeah.
plays at some awesome spots, and like the club, the pictures that he posts from over there look incredible. So I'm jealous that you got to go to Vienna because
Yeah, we got to hang the next night. He was off that night. He was busy that night, so he couldn't make it out. But I got to hang with him the next night. I don't think he was DJing, or if maybe he had just finished and we went somewhere else. But great dude. I totally appreciate the hospitality, and it was.
He used to do edits on DMS.
right.
Did he? Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
briefly.
Mario is
Yeah.
his name. Mario.
He actually came out to Vegas for one of the DMS
I
parties.
think it might have been that one that you were talking about earlier, the Diplo one. I think it might have been around.
It was the Diplo one. Yeah, it was the Diplo one. That's wild. Yeah, he's a good guy.
Yeah.
And we always like to ask, like, any must carries with you, tips or tricks for traveling. Someone came the other day was telling us, Zimmy was telling us lime salt packets. I was just throwing out ideas of anything that you like to when you travel. Any must travel tips?
Just the basic stuff. No, I don't know. I don't know what that lime salt thing's all about, but
it's just
Drew ordered like a case of them because
I got a whole pack. It's good.
It's like crushed. It's basically like crushed lime powder. That way, if you get like a water or sparkling water, you can always. It's like instead of like adding sugar, it's like just a lime.
Interesting. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I didn't know about it. It's not. It's good, but I don't think it's a must buy.
Warren's travel tip was that he always carries a fork in his bag wherever he goes, or like a plastic spork or whatever.
Oh, yeah, I got that. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, for sure. Yeah,
but
yeah.
Let's see here, Drew. What's next? What do we want to do next?
Yeah, crazy DJ story. I mean, he kind of hinted at just having the red carpet in Vienna, which is random, which is amazing. But we always like to find out like a funny or crazy DJ story. I just made a new video for it today. This is brand new debut right here. So yeah, think about something funny, crazy, shitty, whatever you want to talk about it.
You're crazy. You're crazy. You're crazy.
My heart drops when I see those things. Like,
I know, same. It gives me so much anxiety.
Yeah, that's like a roller coaster feeling. Oh, that's terrible. Oh God.
Who let that guy all the way that far? There's a barrier. Who let him get up there?
It's crazy. The one that comes to mind, I'm a married man now, so I don't want to talk too much about it, but let's just say I got caught doing something in the booth after I was done, and I didn't have a job after that night, so I'll just leave it at that. And I thought I was being slick up there, and then I found out they had a camera that no one knew about was shooting on the booth because it was like a high booth.
My gosh.
No one really was up there, and Yep, I got, all my friends were able to keep their jobs, and yeah, I was never allowed to DJ there again. So there's your thing on that one. But
There's a camera everywhere. Got to be careful.
yeah, this is long. I mean, this is in the late '90s, so you didn't know it, but they.
That's crazy.
That is a crazy story. Yeah, we had someone else who was on similar thing. The booth led into the manager's office,
Yeah.
and Red Foo got caught in the manager's office like early LMFAO days. All camera.
No, I mean,
Yeah.
A man's got needs.
you know.
Anything else? Any good Vegas stories? Time gone wrong? Somebody else like a celebrity in the DJ booth? Anything like that come to mind?
You never know who you're going to run into out here. I've had just even just going hanging out with Little John, like the conversations I've had, like Rohan Marley. I talked to him for, one night for a long time before I don't think I realized who he was. And we were just talking, having fun. Just the people you just come out here, like everybody comes to the city and they're in such good spirits when they're here. It's you're catching them at their best, because they're just relaxing and partying. And, so some of these conversations I met, just, some of these rappers that, hang around John, just different guys that I'm able to have conversations with. I mean, it's amazing. I don't know. I don't have anything specific off the top of my head, but
I mean, you're in such a good place. Do you have any I mean, I know you're making more like dance music stuff, but you're in such a good place to have just original hip hop beats to be able to pass out or give to people and put out.
yeah, I mean, the funny thing is this what this scene doesn't have that LA has is the artists, the singers. I shouldn't say they don't. They're definitely here. There's definitely talented singers and rappers, but it's not like out there. Like when I was in Atlanta, man, everywhere you went, it was somebody was a producer, a rapper, and you just at the Starbucks, you'd run into this person, and it didn't matter. Like you would just here, it's if I meet a singer, they're a singer in a cover band on the Strip, or they do, things that they're not really. I don't know. I don't meet like the hustle, the grind, those people that I met in Atlanta. And I'm sure LA, people tell me LA is the same way. Everywhere you go, everyone's singer, rapper, whatever. And I don't meet those here like I did back in Atlanta. And I wish, I mean, it's definitely happening because more people are moving here. But I wish there was more of them and probably more outlets for that stuff. Just showcasing new talent, or because even Atlanta had those things all the time. It'd be like open mic, but it'd be hosted by somebody who was somebody, and someone else who was somebody would appear. And but you would get people coming out and really thinking they could get a record deal, and they probably did on a lot of them. And that's missing in this city. There isn't the record label events like there. I know LA has. I know Nashville even has probably. And I wish they had more of those here.
Because Vegas is such a destination city. It's not really anyone really lives there. But yeah, I'm with you. Especially with the way it's growing. I feel like it could start changing,
Yeah. There's talent everywhere. I mean, there's God, I went to college in Charlotte. I remember when the Baby came out, and I remember saying to myself when I left Charlotte, I was like, I don't think there'll ever be a famous rapper from Charlotte. Well, that year when the Baby was on top of the world, I was sitting there like, I can't believe the most famous rapper is from Charlotte, North Carolina. I just didn't see it because I started a record label there way back when, and I was just like, man, I thought that would. But it didn't. It did took many years. But it's just like it goes to show you there's nowhere in this country where talent isn't brewing. So it's here, definitely here. I just wish it had more of an outlet.
Right.
But
one of the questions I had since you mentioned it is you're married to a DJ. Just if there's any like challenges or any maybe just like I don't know. I don't want to say like
advantages.
Yeah, advantages to being married to another DJ or somebody that shares the same career as you.
Yeah. Well, I'm definitely road manager for a lot of things. Not related to my gigs, you know what I mean? So double checking before she leaves. You got the power cord for this, you got, whatever. Just the things I would do for myself, I find myself always trying to help her with that. As far as like music library, like she's so lucky because I'm a nut with like having everything, and so she's like able to benefit from that. But even she's turned me on to so many songs. Like there's something so hot in being able to be like have her play something for me. She's like, that? I'm like, I don't. I like it though. It's like
Yeah.
I don't know what everyone else's wife brings to the table for them. I know everyone likes music, so I'm sure that happens in some sense. But it definitely that whole thing is just we share the passion for music, and our son is like, he's 5 years old and it is in his body. I mean, he's like, when she was, I think up until about 7 months, she was still DJing, and you don't dance when you DJ, but you rock and you shake, and he's got this connection to music that's in his blood. It's in his bones, like, so I don't even know what's going to happen with him. I don't want to, he's going to know how to mix 2 records when he's older, but I don't necessarily want to be a DJ, but,
Right.
but the advantages, God, I mean, there's a bunch, but just really having the support of like, when I make something new, you hear it in this house 55 times, you know what I mean? Like it's over and over, whether it's after the studio, I take it to every speaker around the house and play it. And, she's totally cool with that. And, that the music nonstop, like, I don't know what other people's households are like with music. Do you guys have music playing nonstop in your house? I don't know. We do, it's always, it's a big part of our,
my wife just always says she hears the same song 900 times in a row, but just a piece of it.
Yeah. I can imagine someone that doesn't like that, but
Yeah.
he gets it. She's produced, I teach her Ableton and stuff, and she's done a couple of originals and she does mashups and stuff, so she understands it. And but outside looking in, I imagine someone else would be like, "What are you doing in there? Like, yeah, you heard it yet?" It's like,
right. Mine's accepting of it. She just will be like, "Oh my God, can you like put some headphones on?" Because like I'll be sitting here at the counter and like she'll be like cooking dinner and I'll be like working on something still that I haven't quite got done yet. And she'll be like, "Just put some headphones on."
yeah. I mean, there's moments where we sit next to each other, we both have our headphones on, but that's the only moment is when she'll be, or I'll have mine out loud. She'll have to grab her headphones, to be a little, or one of us will get frustrated because the other one's trying to play and it's too much. So, but it works. It definitely sharing a passion, understanding just what it's like going to clubs, and just there's no jealousy with all that stuff, and that's like the number one thing for a guy who's maybe just started DJing. He goes out, he has a girlfriend, he starts DJing at the big spot, and these girls are coming up to him and she sees it, and I've seen it a million times, you know what I mean? And
Right.
they can't handle that, and it really is just insecurity when it comes down to it, so that she has to work on. And it sucks for the DJ because they end up losing jobs because of it, and sometimes changing careers for a girl, and all that. So having someone who shares your passion makes life easier in a lot of ways, for sure.
Right. One of the last things that we always like to do, we call it the sauce. It's just a final takeaway or any advice you'd give to younger DJs or any advice you give to your younger self. We have this video we'll roll and then we'll get into it.
The name is Bootsy, baby. And this shout out goes out to Drew and Fuse, all the way from Cincinnati to the LBC Bobble. Yeah, I was told you guys are quite the chefs, and you got a delicious sauce that you cooked up. Ooh, and it drips that swagoo and breaks down the recipe. Yeah, and you giving up the pig, cause it's funky. As in good, that is, finger funkin' good. On the one by the power of the one. Yeah, without that, there is none. So get yours and be in tune with the one that loves you. Get it, baby.
There
Great.
it is.
Love that. Yeah, honestly, like I used to always say, just like DJs should definitely look into production, because whether it's just making your own edits or mashups or remixes or whatever, that alone will take you places that just DJing can't. But you know, especially after going to NAMM this year, shout out Devin Hype. You know, he was one of those DJs that, you know, he DJs. He reminds me of he takes risks like a guy like AM. Like, you know, no one has come in and done what AM did so many years ago, and it's sad because with all these playlists and everything that are out there, you can play those, you can play all the obvious songs, but it takes balls to put on your own mashup, your own remix, you know, something you download from SoundCloud that no one's heard, a song just that no one's heard. Like it takes it's a risk, and that is my biggest thing. If to an up and coming DJ is like, don't play it safe. You can play it safe for moments in the night, and I get it, you know, but you know, your whole night doesn't have to be crazy because you probably won't get booked again. But you have to be an individual. You have to be able to separate yourself. Like playing the same, like me and my friends, we joke, we call it the Vegas 500 because it's like you hear the same songs everywhere you go. And I've been saying this for 10 years out here. And since then, with every record pool doing playlists and all that stuff, it's just turned into this, you know, you're just these jukeboxes. And I don't, that doesn't excite me. Like it's not something that it is to be admired because it's, you're doing the job as safely as you can do it. If you get up there and you're trying different things, like with stems, oh my gosh, I can't imagine having stems when I first started DJing. Like the ability to just drop in a cappella and bring in something underneath it, and or just take the drums of that and this, you know what I mean? Your brain, like take that stems, learn that, know it now so that 10 years from now, I can't picture where DJing goes. Like if you don't, and all you're doing is playing the intro outros of every most popular song, all the reaction songs, one after the other. Like, what are you doing? I get it. You're doing a job, but don't ever ask me who I look up to as a DJ, because if it's not a guy like Devin Height that's coming out here and mixing different genres and throwing things a cappella over other things, like, that's, we're not in the same conversation about DJing, because it's too easy to get up there and play a playlist. And, I don't do weddings. I never could get into that vibe. Like, that's not why I got into DJing. I know there's a ton of money to be made, but it's just not something I enjoy doing. And I feel more so guys that rely on these playlists that do the clubs, they're just, they're playing like a lot of that stuff. And it's just like, show me something, let me walk away wowed. And Drew, when we were hanging out, we had fun that night. But,
we had a blast.
But, I think we had a conversation about this, and I wanted to expand on that so you understood my mindset on that, because that's the real thing, is like, don't just come out here and play all the hot hits and stand up there like you're the man. Like, anyone can do that these days. Get up there and make it go a cappella for a second. Make the room stop. Reset it. Do some things. Like, I'm not a turntablist. I don't get up there and scratch, but I'm going to blend and I'm going to play versions you've never heard, and I'm going to try to blow your mind in different ways. And, that's just what I want these young cats to realize, that just got into it, that how can I separate myself, I don't know.
I totally agree. And we saw a bunch of different DJs that night. So I know what you're saying, but yeah, you definitely have to just be out of the box. That's the only way you're going to be remembered. You could go out there and play the I haven't heard the Vegas 500. I love that. We always just call it the radio DJs that are out here. It's like, it's just a radio DJ, but the Vegas 500 is hilarious. It is. You're just like, okay, here we go. It doesn't sound anything new. It's just what I expected, and you leave. But anytime you hear something that's different, everyone remembers that one or two or four random songs that you play. It's like, oh, that's the guy that does those random ones,
Me and Drew talk about it all the time too. It's like, just playing one song and going from this and then playing that left turn song isn't always like what we're referring to too. It's like, you have to do it in a way that like makes sense, that goes from like point A to point B, like it has some kind of like cohesiveness to it. I don't know. I haven't found a good way to explain the way that Drew and I talk about it all the time. It's like, you hear guys, and maybe you will have a better explanation. That's why I'm bringing this up. You hear guys and they're like, I'm open format because I played Aha Take On Me out of the baby. And it's like, no, like that's not what we're talking about here, you know, like,
Yeah.
and
No.
I think that's the I don't know what I'm trying to say, but I think you know what I'm trying.
No, I know exactly what you're trying to say. I mean, let me come back to it with remind me DJ Scene. I'm gonna tell you a story about him. But my boy Patrice McBride, I've known him since middle school. He's now a super dope DJ on the East Coast, and we're always talking about it. It's the basic job is how you put records together, what you follow up with. It's what you know
Before and after.
Yeah,
The
before and
programming.
after. Like it's like
Yeah.
a good one makes it make sense. A bad one these days, the crowd doesn't even know. Like I hear people train wrecking, and I'm just and then the dance floor kind of stops for a second, and then they rock with them again after they like the next song. And I'm just like,
Right.
you'd be booed in in a different period. And so they're so lucky to be able to have a job doing that, and but it's how you put records together. That is the job. Like that's it. It's that. It's not you can't play this whatever. But getting back to you said about the Take on Me. Is that what you said?
Yeah.
So DJ Scene to me is the dopest open format guy I've seen, in a while. And I haven't seen him in a long time, to be honest with you. I need to check him out again. But he's, he knows his music, and he is on that AM level of just the way he puts things together. And it was one time I went out to, I think it was Light Nightclub here in Vegas, and it's early, the room is he's just starting to get the dance floor going, and it's a club that has a lot of places to sit, and it has a smaller dance floor, but he's building the night up and doing an amazing job about it. And he's playing 80, I want to say it was like the Dougie or something, right? One of those 85 BPM songs that people love. And he double times in Take on Me. And
Nice.
I'm like, yes, just the balls to do that. And I'm looking around and people are losing their mind. Man, some manager who, feels he needs to speak his mind because, whatever, there's 10 managers every club out here, and he runs from someone, don't you ever play that song again. Nobody wants to hear it. Stick to it. And I'm just like, this guy, he's just talking to talk. And because he obviously didn't look around the room, he's not feeling the energy. Like, I'm an energy dude. I see the room. I see what it did to it. It took it to a place that had he stuck with, just 85 BPM hip hop, it wouldn't have went there. You just opened the door up and invited so many more people into the party by doing that. The 40-year-old people that were there and up, like they just now are in the party, and C knows what he's doing. And he did that. And like, man, that's Vegas in a nutshell. Like these guys that are like, don't know music are gatekeeping a lot of this stuff and telling people, what to do. I mean, like I hate saying things like this, but I won't even say it. I'll just say I heard a trap group that people love their stuff, and they played like This Is How We Do It, the original version, and House of Pain, Jump Around, and those are great songs. We love them, but they didn't play it, but they felt they did because some guys in their ear telling them, hey, can you just maybe mix in this? Or, like I didn't hear the conversation, but I know what gets said to try to make these people. And I'm just like, man, like, isn't that something? Like this guy that's not a DJ trying to tell you what to do, and really the wrong thing to do, and keeping it super corny and super in this box when, like I always talk about how Vegas, like it's like locals and superstars, and you have to go downtown to hear anything in the middle. But the superstars, they're going to do what they do. Great. But this city didn't need superstars 20 years ago. It had residents that are, unsung heroes and just every night played stuff and made people lose their minds. Because guess what? People get on a plane. They're coming here to do that. They don't need to see Tiesto and Calvin Harris. It's nice if you get to say that, whatever. But I wish the city would get back, or at least have some venues that would get back to these giant rooms of people, just the residents, and the management trusting the residents to be able to do the job and to do it well. We don't want fucking people to leave. We don't want anyone, we want, we want to keep people in when people are having fun. And it's like, that's the job. And, I think Little John does it great out here. I think Diplo does it great of mixing a lot of different things on that level.
I agree. Every time I've seen Diplo out there, it's been great. Every time I've seen Lil Jon, it's always bringing something new to the table too.
Yeah, but it's all these other people, and it's just like, I don't know. I get it. I get why they said like the Tiesto effect is like it's measured on, how they afford to pay him is on the sales of the hotel, the gambling that happens when he's in town, the restaurants that increase in business, and it's all calculated to be able to justify the payment of these guys and how at the level that they're at. And Tiesto's the ultimate legend in dance music, are probably the top of the pyramid for me. So no disrespect to him. It's just about, do we need to have that out here? Like, people are ready to come here, and if you give DJs a little more freedom, I think that can change the city. And
Well,
God,
people in the Midwest don't necessarily only know Tiesto. I mean, maybe with Spotify now having the lists, they're a little bit more familiar with some of those tracks, but they still know the Spice Girls and the random party hits, right? That's why it still works. So being able to just be open format, like in a big room, and you could have Tiesto over here, but you could still have a big room that does the open format.
yeah. I mean, it's ultimately up to the DJs that know the music and staying up on it, and working in these 30 and 40-year-old songs, which, in case you don't know, if you go to iTunes now and you look at their Hot 100, it's 50% old music. Like, this is the first time this has ever happened in since that site's been around. It's more old music than it is new music, and the new music is so few and far between, and the record pools can't have Sony music up there. So what you're left with, as a lot of these record pools, we don't get these Sony, like, unless you're getting it sent to you. So you don't hear DJs playing some of it as much. I mean, you'll go and search for the Beyonce song or whatever, but it's like the new stuff that is up there that's not Sony and not old. Good luck making a night out of that. Like, you have to know old music as a DJ.
Right.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, I just wanted to add on to we were talking about just programming and everything. I have a friend that he's always like, "Oh, the manager told me to change it." I played that the other night, and me and Fuse joke about Stone Rock's quote is, "How do you get what you're doing?"
He says, how do you hear what I'm doing and then hear what you're doing and think we're doing the same thing?
Because he came out to my night, he was like, I played that the other night and I got yelled at, and I'm going, what did you play before and after? It's not the same. You're not always getting played for that one song. And sometimes it's like what's happening in the overall scheme of it. They don't hear the one song when they start yelling. They didn't hear that beat come in. I mean, I'm not referring to the scene thing, but I'm just saying in general, they didn't just hear that one part and they go, this sucks. It's like the 10 minutes leading up to it, is like, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah. There's a vibe you're building. They have no clue. I hear you.
But this has been awesome. We really appreciate you coming on. Before we wrap it up here, if there's anything you want to promote, any of your pages where people can get music, anything like that.
Yeah, definitely. DJcontrol.dance is the website. I am going to load up the remaining USBs that I have and get rid of those. I'll probably put them on a discounted price soon. So be on the lookout for that. My new single I did with Splice and Leah Lakaya. She's an amazing singer. And we made a dance cover of Landslide by Fleetwood Mac. And so if you don't have that, check that out, please. That's doing well. Getting a lot of support from mix show guys and some radio stuff. So it's exciting to get back into promoting that. Much more original productions coming after that. We do have remixes coming too for Landslide. May 10th, there's going to be a remix pack coming out with some different genres. But the original's out. Stream it, please. Check it out. If you're playing it, send me a video. I will be releasing the acapella soon. So for guys that are looking for something to do, the vocal is amazing. She sounds a lot like Stevie Nicks in her own way. She definitely owns it. But that's pretty much it.
Awesome.
And they could buy that USB on your website. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
You had a store up with a bunch of stuff. That's why I was complimenting you on your site.
Yeah, that's up there. And I will once I'm done with those, I'll take it down. I do also sell the tins by themselves, which I will say saved me because I keep an extra tin with my USBs, not my USBs to sell, but just having that with your USBs and you put it in your DJ bag if you need a central place where you're always searching for your flash drive, wherever it was, you can see it real easily, and you can keep a couple in there. And I always keep mine. If you take the padding out there, you can hold a bunch, and it's a great way to just have them. So if you want just that, whatever, support for that. But
this is printed and not a sticker. How did you and where did you get these made?
Man, overseas. Like I said,
But it was printed though, right?
Printed, yeah.
It's very cool.
Appreciate that. Yeah, the story behind that, the Nintendo thing is like I needed a business card years ago. I was like, I need a business card that when I hand it to somebody, they don't throw in the trash. And then I was like trying to think of a way to like do something like AM had the AC/DC font or whatever, and so I was trying to think, somehow mixing pop culture, and I came up with the Nintendo thing. I grew up playing Nintendo, and it
works perfect.
I would pass that card out. People would be like, "Oh, up, down, left, right, BA." The Contra code, and like everyone would take them to a place, and they kept. I was like, "Oh, I need to do stickers. I need, So it's not my logo, but it definitely is part of my marketing. So
that's
I
awesome.
got a degree in marketing, so that some of these things that from college, not everything came along, but a couple of things I might have taken note of. So.
It's dope, and you're doing great, man. And you said also, did you say Crate Connect is where you're posting a lot of your mashups right now?
Yep. Every month. Just posted 4 new ones last week. So Crate Connect on that. He's got a new website coming soon. Like I said, idjpool.com is the oldest record pool in the country. I help out with that, with the edits. Charts for DJs is a new one. Radio DJ Pool. Those are kind of side ones of iDJ Pool, but check those out as well.
And if we tell all of our listeners to go hound you about starting your own Patreon, is that what you want us to do?
Yeah, I mean, if the demand's there, I'll do it. It's one more thing to do in a week, but if people want that and they don't, I will say this, like I got a friend that does it, and his model is not post it next month, post it, and they can come on and just get everything. It's post it. This is what I have this month, and I'll include everything. I'll do my intro. I'll get everything that I'm doing. After that, it's gone. If you want the old one, hit me up personally, because I will do a Patreon if I can post it and take stuff away each month. That way, it's not, I want you to fiend for the new stuff and feel special that the other guy left last month and he doesn't have the new stuff, because I mean, it's all DJ tools. I think what a DJ could use every time. Literally, that's what it's about.
So everybody slide into his DMs and talk him into starting that Patreon.
Cool. Well, this was a lot of fun. I really appreciate it.
No, we appreciate you coming on and taking the time to chat with us today. So,
for sure.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
It's going to wrap it up for today. So until next time, we'll see you guys later.
Peace.